Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm gonna start a series of videos concerning um, remote access to devices. And so it's actually a topic very important today. Let's say you have an office. This is your office, and but you don't live close to the office. You live in a different part of the city. Let's say you live right across the city, and for some reason you cannot come to the office to do your work. So then you have to remotely access your office devices. Okay, you have to remotely access your office devices, and if those devices were network devices, um, in the context of what we're doing today, we'll be able to do a telnet to those, let's say, a router or a PC or uh, Linux machine or whatever device that you manage, and then you'll be able to do whatever configurations or file transfer you want to do. Okay, so there are many ways of connecting remotely to devices. You have telnet access to devices. Okay, you have telnet access to devices. You have SSH, okay, access to devices. Okay, so telnet is less secure. The SSH is a lot more secure. Okay, and you also have for Windows devices, you have remote desktop. Okay, remote desktop devices, remote desktop. So Telnet works on port 23. Okay, as I said, it's less secure. This one is port 22 for SSH. Okay, and then you also have remote desktop, which is on 3389. Okay, so my preferred actually is this one, SSH. Okay, but we're going to see all of them. So for today, we're going to start first with Telnet to see how we can configure a Telnet connection between one host and the server. All right, so I set up a simple network here between the host, it's these two PCs, and the router. So we want this router, okay, hit .100 to be able to manage the PC .100 should be able to manage the router, which is 192.168.10.1. Okay, so for that we're going to configure the IP connectivity is already been set, so we could just double check that. So that's the first thing I actually want to test. Okay, make sure that the devices are connected. So if I do ping to 192.168.10.1, okay, ping is responding. But if I do a telnet, to 192.168.10.1, okay, telnet is open, but I cannot actually connect, because if I could connect, it would the reason why it's open is because the port is not actually blocked on the router. Okay, but I cannot connect to the router itself because I need to configure the router. Okay, so that's the difference. So I'm going to configure the router so we be able to telnet to it. Okay, so we don't have to basically like move over to the location where the router is. We can actually just do the configuration from our PC here, right here. So that's the purpose. So I'm going to log into the router and go to CLI mode. Say configure terminal. I have to give the router a name, host name. Let me just call it R1. And then I could actually give the router a username. Okay, username. Let me call it tab1. Provide the privilege mode, privilege 15, and then set the password. Secret password is gonna be Cisco 123. Okay, that's the password. Enter. And then we set the domain name, IP domain, domain name. IP domain name we give cisco.com. And then we have to generate, for SSH, we're going to have to generate crypto key. Generate what type of keys? It's an RSA. Okay, the encryption type is called the RSA. Do enter. It's going to ask us what's the size of the key you want to generate. It's going to be 1024. Okay, because if we set less than that, it's not going to be able to accept the SSH version 2. There's two types of SSH. Okay, so now we're going to set the we're going to tell the router to accept the SSH version 2, IP SSH version 2. Okay, because there's version 1, there's version 2, which version 2 is a more recent, more secure. Enter. And then we have to configure the VTY lines. Configure VTY 0 to 15, because they're actually 0 to, oh, okay, it doesn't give options, but there's 0 to 15. 0 to 15. That's line console 0 to 15. If I do a question mark, it's going to tell me, okay, I want to console, it's going to be from 0 to 15. Enter. Should be line VTY, not line console. Okay, line VTY. Okay, all right. Okay, now it's 0 to 15. You can see 0 to 15 there. 0 to 15. Okay. And now we have to set the we have to allow allow local login. Okay, login. If we do a question mark, there are two ways to log in. If I say login by using authentication, maybe we have a server that's going to be used for authentication, maybe a AA server. But we want to log in local, which means we're going to enter the IP or the password locally. So say login local. Okay. And then we define how we're going to log in. Okay. Transport. If I do question mark, transport input. Okay, what type of input we want to set is going to be SSH. Okay, I could just say all. Which means it's going to take both SSH and the telnet. Okay, if I say all. Okay, enter. I go out of there, and I have to save the configuration. Okay, now we can test it. So to test this, it's very easy. Just go to one of these PCs. Let's say this one. Okay, log in there. Go to command prompt. Ping. We know the ping is working. They're directly connected, so the ping is not a problem. But if I do a telnet now, you see the difference. We're going to see what's the difference. If I do telnet now, it's going to ask for username. Okay, ask for username. We set a username to tab1. That was the username we set. Now it's going to ask for password. Cisco 123. Okay, now we are in the PC and we're able to configure that router on this PC. We didn't have to move to the office where you have the router or to the data center where you have the router. So we're doing all of this from our home. Okay, that's where the PC is. So let's log out of there. If we do exit, let's test telnet. If I just say SSH, it's not going to work here. So I have to, for SSH, I have to test using a different tool here. If I come here, I could actually test Telnet from here as well. Okay, if I come here, I do Telnet, asking for the IP address of the remote end, which IP is 192.168.10.1. So you connect, then ask for password, step 1, and it's ask for password, username and password. Cisco 123. Okay, so now I'm showing you two ways to turn it. Okay, either directly from the router or using an app in the router or a software in the, call it anyway. This is another way to access from the PC. So I'm going to exit from there and test the I'm going to test the SSH now. So for SSH, I have to put the IP address .1, and then I have to give the username. Step 1, connect. Okay. Now directly, since I already gave the username, it's just going to ask me for the password. Cisco 123. Enter. So now we have two ways to connect to this router. You can do a Telnet, which is less secure. You can do also SSH. Okay. So we connected. We do an exit out of there. Just asking. So that's how you connect. You can remotely connect to a router, and then from there you don't need to. You can do whatever configuration you want to do on this router without actually going there physically. So the next one I'm going to show you is how you can do this for really remote end. Okay, this one is, remember, this is directly connected. You have that router just sitting in front of you. But what about if it's the other side of the city or the other side of the continent, or that's going to be what we're going to focus right now. All right, guys, I brought up another diagram. This one is a little bit more it's bigger. So this is just to show you in the real world how it happens. Let's say you're working here, user 1, and you're the admin, network admin for this site. You don't have to move to all these areas. Okay, this could be another part of the city, another part of the continent. So let's say you have to manage this router. How are you going to do? The first thing you want to do is to make sure that you can ping this router from here. Okay, so basically, let's say you want to manage this router, but you can ping both interfaces. Okay, you can ping both the WAN interface and the LAN interface. Ideally, it's better to manage from the LAN interface. Okay, better to manage from the LAN. It's more secure to manage from the LAN interface. So which means it's going to select your LAN interface as a management interface. So let's see if we can ping that interface. Let's check what interface it is. So it's going to be, if I put my cursor there, okay, giga Ethernet 01. Okay, so if I go in there, I do show IP interface brief. Okay, 01, this is the IP address we have to make sure we can ping from user 1. Okay, so if you can ping this IP, then we go in there and then we can manage this we can configure our SSH and everything from this router here. So let's go in here to user 1. If you can ping it 10.10.10.1. If you can't ping it, then we have to troubleshoot, but ping is responding. That's good. Okay, let's do another ping just to be sure. All right, our ping is responding. So from this user, we can be able to configure our SSH or Telnet. And as I said, Telnet is not very secure, so I'm not going to configure telnet across this VPN and all this internet. I'm just going to configure SSH. Okay, so I'm just going there. I say configure terminal. It already has a host name, so I'm just going to start the real configuration of the SSH username. Let's call it tab 1 again. Tab 1. Set privilege level 15. Set a secret password. And the reason we say secret is because the password, you're only going to be able to see it right now. Okay, once I complete this, I save the configuration, the password is going to be hidden. 123 Cisco 123 is our password, and we do IP domain name, call it cisco.com. Okay, and then we generate a crypto key. Crypto key generate RSA. It's not different from what we did already. Okay, it's just a matter of, so again, it's going to ask us, do we accept the 512 key, or we want a longer key length of our encryption? So we want 1024 so that we can do SSH version 2. Okay, less than that, this length, we cannot do SSH version 2, which is more secure. Enter. Now the last thing we want to do is, okay, we're going to say define IP SSH version 2. Okay, tell it's going to run on SSH version 2, and then we go into the V12 lines, configure the V12 lines, line V12 0 to 15. We'll tell it to login local. Again, the reason we want to say login local is because we don't have a server that is going to authenticate us. Okay, we don't have, so it's going to be just by password, the password that we defined above. And then we'll also define what kind of how we're going to input our SSH transport input. Okay, all, which means you're going to take telnet and SSH, but as I said, it's much better to avoid telnet, so we're just going to say specify SSH. Okay, enter. We'll go out of there. So now telnet is not going to work. Okay, so it's going to be just SSH. So I'm going to save the configuration, and let's try to test. We go to user 1. Let's try telnet. So if I do telnet to 10.10.10.1, okay, telnet port is open, but we cannot log into the router. Okay, port is actually open. We could actually block that port, but well, anyways, the port is open, but we cannot remotely manage the router. So what we're going to do is, what can work is only the SSH. Okay, we'll go down here, click here, SSH, give the host name IP 10.10.10.1. Okay, and then we'll give the username tab 1, and we connect. All right, gonna ask directly password Cisco 123. All right, so from this PC, we are remotely managing this this router. Okay, different city, different country, different continent, but we're sitting on our PC and we're able to connect to that. Okay, so that's all for this video. On the next video, we're going to do SSH. We continue SSH, but with machines, Linux machines, and also eventually also Linux to Linux and Linux to a router. Okay, so thanks so much for watching, and talk to you next time.